a beautiful afternoon to be on the water and experience the coastline. I'm enjoying it today on a Sea-Doo Fish Pro. Beautiful conditions, nice and calm, very enjoyable. A great day on the water, however, can turn bad when the storm clouds roll in. I'm Charlie Baker and I'm out here today to educate you on severe weather alerts and the impacts on PWC and jet ski owners. When it comes to wind strength, it's critical to know the seaworthiness limits of your vessel and the abilities of yourself. As a general rule, in waterways that are prone to swell or chop, small vessels should avoid going out in winds exceeding 15 knots. Wind warnings are issued for local and coastal waters when the wind exceeds 26 knots. That is a strong wind warning. After that we have a gale warning, storm warning and then hurricane warning. After we look at our forecast before we go out, all skippers should be observing the weather and take note when they think the wind effect will change. Conditions can develop quite rapidly. What we're looking for is observations around us, like on the water's surface or clouds. Also, we can look at real-time observations online. For example, I could look at the Wollongong forecast if I'm expecting a strong southerly in Sydney. Once it's hit Wollongong, I know that there's a certain time frame when it should reach Sydney. So that'll give me time to prepare my vessel for that event. Monitor the sky and your surroundings for any change in the weather. Look at patterns of birds, for example. They'll always move to a sheltered location. We can look at other boats as well. If someone else thinks that the weather may change, you might see the boats all moving to another location as well. A cold front is faster moving cold air that's approaching warmer air. Two just don't mix. The cold front will actually push under the warm air, forcing it upwards, which brings a dark wall of cloud with high white fluffier clouds above it called cumulus nimbus. If you see the cold front approaching, understand that we could have wind gusts for an hour or so up to 50 knots or more. If you're out on the water, make sure you have enough time to pack your vessel up and prepare to depart and get home in a good amount of time. Remember that wind speeds in forecasts and warnings are averages and that they could be up to 40% stronger than forecast. A strong wind warning can be from 26 to 33 knots, a gale warning can be from 34 to 47 knots. Storm warning, that's from 48 to 63 knots, and a hurricane warning 64 and above. A knot is a nautical mile per hour, and if you're not the metric type, 1 nautical mile is 1.852 kilometres. So if it was 20 knots of breeze, I'll estimate that at about 35 to 38 kilometres per hour. Jet skis are quite small vessels in the water, so for larger vessels in bigger waves, they can be very hard to see. So be aware of that and don't operate too closely to larger vessels. Large waves and swell are generated from low pressure systems far away. So it can be a nice sunny day where you are, but that means that you can be affected by waves building. During intense weather systems, waves will be higher, steeper and more unpredictable. More so in the shallower water close to the coast where we like to operate these types of things such as PWCs and jet skis. The Wave Rider boys provide you with real-time wave information. So if you're out on one of these and the weather gets worse, the waves get bigger, you're going to have to start thinking about how you're going to get back because your initial plan might change. So you might use some more fuel, take a different direction to get back into safety. One of the best things about a jet ski is how fast it goes and the speed. But once you add in some rougher weather, you start to lose your steerage and propulsion and you can get thrown around quite roughly. It's quite important to tell the people on board your boat what's going on, especially if the weather has changed and we're making a new plan for home. The new trip, it could involve more fuel, a longer time and a different route in order to hide from some rougher weather. So we want to find the shelter behind some land masses and go through the calmer weather. We might have to consider a plan B or a plan C if we can't reach the desired marina or destination. When running in large swells or wind chop, it's good to monitor your vessel and how it's performing. If you're going straight into the waves, it may begin slamming and shuddering throughout the vessel. If it's too much on the beam, that's the side, the vessel will roll quite violently. Thunderstorms are accompanied by squalls, heavy rain, hail and sometimes lightning. They also are associated with very high winds. East coast lows are severe weather events that happen off the east coast of Australia multiple times throughout the year. They generate intense waves, which can also generate a storm surge. They carry gale to storm force winds, and it all pushes onshore together. Tropical cyclones are a severe weather event to be well aware of. In the Northern Hemisphere, they're referred to as hurricanes. And as previously mentioned, hurricane force is 64 knots and above. Tropical cyclones, they come with intense winds, torrential rain, storm surge and large waves. This can affect low-lying areas, even marinas and up rivers and in small bays as well. Sea fog can last quite a long time. It's quite a problem for mariners as it reduces our visibility. Therefore, we're relying on things such as radars and GPS systems to know where we are and what vessels are around us. Tides not only affect the water level, but it also creates water flow, which we call current. When entering rivers or barways, we really need to be aware of this, especially outgoing currents, which are referred to as ebb tides. The best time to cross is on the high water slack. That means there's not much water movement. During the middle of the change, that's when we have the most movement. A low slack tide is also good as long as your boat has enough draft to get over the sand or the seabed that is at the barway. In severe weather events, when we're dealing with a lot of rain, remember in rivers and creeks that we may be dealing, even in coastal bays, dealing with a lot of debris, logs, rubbish and other things that will float down. Jet skis are great for operating in shallow water, but obviously when you're around shallow water you need to be aware of hidden dangers. They can lie just below the surface. Given they have usually a very small lightweight anchor, currents or waves or other things, if you're trying to anchor near a beach or in a river, can have a big effect on that small anchor and it may not hold its position. Being a small open craft like a PWC is going to be affected a lot more by the weather. You've got some wind, you've got some small waves that's going to spray into your face. It's going to restrict your vision and other things like that. So if you have to make your way home because of adverse weather, have your safety gear ready and prep before it becomes a problem. If you've got someone else with you, give them a good briefing as well. If we have internal flooding on our boat, we need to make sure we've got the battery power our bilge pumps. We need to make sure our bilge pumps are switched to the correct setting. They can either be off, manual or auto. Most people like to leave their boat with nice clean bilges and the bilge pump on auto. There's great sources of information you can look at before you head out to sea. Right now I'm having a look at the Bureau of Meteorology, checking the forecast for the local area. So that's the Coastal Waters forecast. All these apps and online information are great. You could use a laptop, you could look it up on your phone. If you're out of reception, you could call through on the radio. We can have a look at the Club Marine website for the boat preparation for severe weather. That has links to some good forecasting sites as well and good checklists to work off. Any checklist is a good checklist because it stops you worrying about things that you may have missed.